I hereby call the Brockton School Committee to order for Tuesday, May 16th, 2023, it being 7 o'clock. I'd ask us, we please stand and salute our American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to first establish a quorum. Mrs. Sullivan? Here. Mr. Homer? Here. Mrs. Ehlers?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Here.
Ms. Azak?
Here.
Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
Chair is here. We've established a formal quorum. We've called the meeting to order. Number 2 on the agenda, I have to read the following before we get to that. Welcome to the open meeting of the school committee. This is the agenda that will be discussed this evening. Please note the hearing of visitors is included. If you have a statement or question, please give your name to the secretary, which we have 3 individuals that have signed in. In addition to attending, the public can view this meeting via television on Comcast Channel 98 and also 1071 HD version, and also finally online via the following link, which is www.youtube.com/TheBrocktonChannels. We will now go to agenda 2, which is the hearing of visitors. The first individual that has signed in is Mr. Jim Stapleton, please. Mr. Stapleton, please come up to the podium. You also have 2 additional guests. They can join you, of course. Good evening.
Good evening. Oh,
I'll take this now.
good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm representing, along with Amanda Gomez and Sierra Yard, 2 teachers from South Junior High School, South Middle School. We're representing a committee we have that's establishing a gala on June 10th down at Ann's Palace down on 277 Main Street, Saturday night from 7 to 12 o'clock, 7 p.m. to midnight. It's a 21-plus event, and it's a gala we're putting on that basically has multi-purposes. One is to raise some additional funding. We obviously know about budgetary issues, so maybe we're a little at the forefront of that one. For field trips, for scholarships, we want to endow, particularly the first year, to Dr. Zakowitz, who was a South attendee, South graduate, and George Baldwin, formerly a South student also. This would be posthumously in George's case. Also to have additional money, again, Field Trip Student Council, which Ms. Gomez runs. This gala is something that's going to bring the city together, we hope. It's to benefit South Middle School, but it's a Brockton Summer Gala. And we all know we're here tonight. We've had some issues going on in the city financially with the school department, but you know what? This is going to bring us all together. We're going to have a good time, a nice night to get out, enjoy, chance to dance. We have DJ, we have a band playing. We're going to have a good time. We're all going to make it through, and in the long term, we're going to remember the fun we have together, and sometimes the challenges that make that fun more enjoyable. Okay, Brockton's weathered many storms. We're going to weather this next one. But so let's try to bring everyone together. June 10th, Ann's Palace, 277 Main Street. Ms. Gomez, do you want to add something? And these 2 have been great helpers, by the way, just great helpers.
Sure. I just wanted to add that Sierra and I both are from Brockton. We both received a Brockton education, and now we're giving back to our community. And at the end of the day, we just have to keep the kids in mind because it's for them. Although we are going through it, and we're adults, but it is tough sometimes. The kids, they shouldn't endure what's happening. So we do want to pass out just a couple. Is it possible for us to pass out a couple envelopes? It has our flyer in it. So here's our flyer. We also have a couple save the dates. So at the end of the meeting, if anybody wants to grab a couple save the dates, they can do that as well. And it has a QR code which you can buy your ticket on and donate to South Middle School.
Okay, tell them.
Thank you for your time.
I want to first of all thank the 3 of you. I was fortunate enough to come down to South Middle School recently, speak to all the class officers and also Mr. Stapleton's class. Those kids are phenomenal. I've already donated to this cause. It's a wonderful cause. So thank you for what you do for educating the kids in the City of Champions. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stapleton. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Thank you again. Oh, Mr. Sullivan, please.
Just one. What time is it on June 10th?
7 to 12, 7
Okay.
p.m. to midnight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also,
Yes.
have some tickets anyone needs, so I'll leave them out.
Thank you, Mr. Stapleton. Thank you, everybody. Next person is the president of the BEA, Ms. Kim Gibson. Kim.
Good evening, Mayor Sullivan, members of the school committee, and Superintendent Thomas. As president of the Brockton Education Association, I need to share some thoughts on yesterday's reduction in force. As you all know, it was a very devastating day for my teachers. I have been fielding phone calls from them, I've been getting emails, and my focus is on the teachers right now. I've had many news outlets contact me. I've not returned calls because I am focusing on my teachers right now. So lost in yesterday's news is the fact that almost a third of the district's deficit could be prevented if the state basically rounded up the low-income percentage rate by less than half of a percentage point. The Brockton Public Schools low-income percentage rate, as calculated with our October 1st enrollment numbers, is 79.59%. The state's failure to round up to 80%, which would move the district up to the low-income group 12, will cost the district $6.4 million and dozens of teachers' jobs. That 0.41% difference is the equivalent of 69 low-income students, which the district could easily demonstrate it has added since the numbers were calculated just 4 weeks into our school year. Our population of students experiencing homelessness has increased by 125% this year. Since October 1st, we've welcomed 489 English language learners who are new to the country. I recognize that our student enrollment has dropped, but some of those staff layoffs are preventable by the state. On behalf of the Brockton Education Association, I am calling on state leaders to establish a pothole fund that supports districts whose enrollment drastically fluctuates throughout the school year after October 1st. That date is arbitrary to us. It does not capture our enrollment of population of students at this time. I encourage my BEA members and all community members to contact your state reps and senators as well. The BEA will continue to bargain with the school committee representatives on ways to reduce the impact of this loss of staff. We have come so far since COVID, and to lose 130 members will put us back. So I appreciate all you've done and look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, President Gibson. Thank you. We have one last individual, Michelle B. has signed in. She told me to say Michelle B., and I said Michelle B. I'm a good listener. Michelle, good evening.
I just want to say thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Bonzek. I told the mayor to call me Michelle B. because Bonzek is real hard to say. I want to first state right off the bat that I want to acknowledge that the people that were laid off and lost their positions for next year are in a far worse situation than I am today. And I don't want to belittle that or take anything away from how severe of a loss to our students that is. That being said, I'd like to take a moment to be a little bit selfish, if I could, and let you know a little bit about my journey in the Brockton School District. For the last 20 years, I have been an English teacher in the Brockton school system. I spent my first 19 years at Brockton High School. I graduated in May, and in September, I was hired to be an MCAS specialist teacher, which is a position that no longer exists. But I took students who literally were 6 months younger than me and was teaching them how to pass the MCAS exam so they could graduate. When I started in Brockton, I told everyone I had my dream job, and it's true, I did. And I love this district so much. It's absolutely dumb, honestly, how much I love it here. And I've worked really, really hard. Full disclosure, when I was hired, your girl was a hot mess. But I worked really hard and under amazing mentors like Joellen Fisher and Penny Ulschler and Wendy Heckert and Deirdre Smith and so many other people, I became an extraordinary teacher. I am tooting my own horn a little bit there, but it's true. And I love Brockton High. But once Chapter 222 came into play, things changed so drastically. And last year was so awful, I almost quit in the middle of the school year. I was accused of assault while doing my hall duty because I said, "Excuse me, miss," and tapped a girl on the shoulder, just like this, twice. She had her hair down. I didn't know she had headphones in, so she couldn't hear me speaking to her. And she filed a report saying that I assaulted her. The other one, I was alone in a bathroom with 6 or 7 girls, who were wandering and cutting class for over 20 minutes, and I was trying to get them to go back to class. And so those of you who might know me know I can be a little bit silly. So I sauntered in and was like, "Ooh, we're filming TikToks," because I like to make it weird. And then a young woman tripped, and I grabbed her so she didn't hit the brick wall that is the side of the bathroom. And she accused me of pushing her into that wall. And the thing is that actually that job came to be my prep period, my duty rather, because I formally requested being excused from teacher absence without a sub because I was told to F myself, and I was called the B word for asking students to put their IDs on and sit down and take their hoods off. And I would have quit because I cried every single day from October 1st on, except BVLA offered this beautiful opportunity to me. And so I just wanted to quickly tell you what our days are like, because I don't think that most people in our district understand what our day is like. So I work from home, but what that means is that I get up and I prep for my classes in the morning. And then I teach a 9th, a 10th, an 11th, and a 12th grade English class, which is 4 separate preps. And with that 4 preps, each one of those is honors and CPA, as well as 3 of my 4 classes are COTOTs. My math counterpart, Karen Guzman, has actually had 5 preps this year because 2 of her classes were half years. And we have turned on the dime on a regular basis. In addition to those 4 classes out of the 7 periods, we have a CPT or a PLC each day, as well as an advisory where I have the 8th graders, for instance. And then next year, the goal is that I will stay with them in the 9th grade. So, and then 10th grade, I'll follow them up through their graduation, ideally, so that they have a person with them who is outside of the grading person in their life. And then I have my 1 prep. But after our school day ends is where our real work begins, because I have not had a curriculum. I'm so sorry. I'll shut up in 3 seconds, I promise, whoever is beeping. I have created a whole curriculum. Karen, with the math, has taken a curriculum that was never meant to be an online curriculum and beautifully and aggressively morphed it into this thing that she is attempting to give to our students. We give so much every single day to our kids, in addition to then at night going and doing a Bridgewater State certificate program in virtual teaching. And I just want to leave you with, we love and care about our students so very much. And I initially was going to come tonight, last week, and be like, honestly, taking away Schoology from your virtual school is essentially setting fire to our school building with all of our supplies inside. And it still remains true, but I know that that is incredibly expensive, so I get it. But Teams doesn't do what Schoology does for us, and we have put years of work into that particular format so our students get the best product possible from us. And now we're going to have to start from scratch again next year. And so it's going to be late nights again for another year for us. But we'll do it because we love our kids. But please, please, please make sure that you're talking to us when you change the schedule for BVLA and you work to figure out what the best course of action is for us, because we know our students and we know how to help them best. because you paid for us to learn even more. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all the hearing and visitors this evening. We will now go on to Agenda 3, which is the consent agenda. There's A, B, C, and D. Are there any members of the school committee that would like to take them out, or would we take them collectively? What's the will of the committee, please? Is there a motion? Mr. Sullivan?
Motion to approve item A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Who made the second? I'm sorry.
I did.
Okay. Motion was made by Mr. Sullivan. It was properly seconded by Ms. Azak. Before we take the vote, let me just read them into the record if I could. A is the approval of the minutes, facilities, usage, and planning subcommittee meeting dated April 11, 2023. B is the approval of 2022-2023 home education request. C is the request for authorizations to submit proposal and expenditures of funds. FY 2024 Coordinated Family and Community Engagement Grant, CFCE, in the amount of $158,573 even. FY 2024 Brockton Adult Learning Center's Mass STEP ABE, STEP ABE, and Mass STEP ESOL, STEP ESOL grant in the amount of $65,000 even. And finally, D is the acceptance of human resources notifications, appointments of non-certified personnel actions, which is leaves of absences, resignations, and retirements. We have a motion. It was properly seconded. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, kindly raise your hand. It does pass A, B, C, D collectively. And into the record, we will now go into Agenda 4, which is the report of Superintendent of Schools, Mike Thomas. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, we want to welcome, for her last time, our student representative from Brockton High School, Abby. Abby, it's good to see you again, and we're sorry this is your last report because we've loved having you with us. You always bring us the best part of our meetings, so I'm going to have you update us on all the great things that are going on, especially the last few weeks here for our seniors.
So like you said, next week is going to be my last week. So I have behind me 4 juniors that you're going to see their faces a lot more. To the right, I have Anthony Vega, who's going to be your student rep next year.
You guys stand? That'd be great.
You'll be seeing these faces a lot more. Remember them. I'm going to have them all introduce themselves after. I'm just going to say a few words. I just want to thank you guys all for the opportunity that you let me and my other fellow classmates have. I want to thank you for everything you do. I want to thank Miss Burns, Miss Kopp, Miss Marion, and Miss Bosco for giving me the opportunity and for everything that they do for the kids. I really love this opportunity. You guys always hear about the bad things that are happening, and it's been great to just tell you about everything that is good because it's not always seen. And I want to show you a different side of Brockton and help other people see all the good things that are happening. So with that, I'm going to have a few people.
Let's thank you, Abby. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Oh, I have the mic. Good evening, everybody. I'm Olivia Rapuya. I'm currently a junior in the Green House. I'm also treasurer of my junior class and future president of the Asian Club. I am also a participant in National Honor Society, and I'm currently trying to run for treasurer. Something about me, I'm currently 16 years old, and I'm wanting to pursue something in the medical field, more specifically anesthesiology. I thoroughly enjoy being a Brockton student. I've been in here since kindergarten. I've attended Angelo and went to North Middle School as well. And I think me being in this position is very great, and I'm very grateful for my ability to be here tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Just a little awkward maneuver, that's fine. Okay. Hello. I've heard more acronyms tonight than I have in my entire life. My name is Gianna Lamar. I've been in the Brockton public school system my entire life. I went to the Davis, then the Angelo, then the Plouffe, and now I'm an Azure student. I'm a junior. I am a very active member in the drama club, and I'm also in the National Honor Society. I'm also in the Classical and Modern Language Honor Society, and I'm the junior president for Mandarin. I am running for historian for the National Honor Society. And I enjoy being a Brockton High student. I'm in a lot of IB classes, and I enjoy the even though it is tedious, I enjoy it. It's a challenge. And I plan on being a high school English teacher because that's what I've always been interested in. Okay.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Arian Dubasson. I am a junior from the Red House. I'm actually the brother of Jaden Dubasson, who used to come here, but he's also going to graduate. I have not lived in Brockton my entire life. I have actually moved here my 4th grade year, but it's one of the best decisions my parents could have made, honestly. I'm really enjoying it down here. I'm part of the choir, drama club, and a few other stuff like journalism, and I'm excited to start contributing here. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Vega. I'm a junior from the greenhouse. I really wish I had all the qualifications all these other people had. But I've grown up in Brockton all my life, gone through the education system. I even played baseball with Mayor Sullivan's son. So that's an experience, a little connection there. Also, Abby failed to mention that these 3 would be my alternates in the event that I wouldn't be here. Yeah.
Well, welcome. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Any questions from the committee at all for the newest members starting in the next academic
do.
year? Ms. Azak.
It's not so much a question, but I just want to thank Abby. It has been a pleasure having you here with us all year long, from your PowerPoints to just keeping us updated. So I know a lot of the viewers really enjoy when the students come to the meetings and explain to them what we're doing, things that are going on in school. So, you know, your segment during our school committee, I always get emails the next day like, this is great. We love when the students are here. So we wish you lots of luck. And you're always, you know, once a school committee representative, student rep, you're always a student rep. So you're always more than welcome to come back and visit us. To the new reps, welcome aboard. We're looking forward to getting to know everyone. It's an exciting time. And I know we all wish you well. We can't wait to see your graduation day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Azak. Any other thoughts at all? Abby, thank you again on behalf of the entire committee. Thank you for what you've done, and your future is great, so thank you. And we look forward to working with all of you. All right? Thank you again. Were you guys in Mamma Mia this weekend? Yep. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. Superintendent?
He has a presentation.
Oh, good. I'm sorry. I didn't know
I'm
that.
ready. Come on now.
Here we go.
I took this seriously. All right. So first, like Abby said before, I just want to showcase maybe some of the things that aren't as public about Brockton High as they should be. First is the art show. It was the 37th annual art show to spotlight and really just showcase all of our talented students that are. It's just so amazing to see all the different creative ideas and art pieces they work on. It's really popular. Most of the classes got to visit, and it's a great exhibit to showcase to the entire school. And then the band, Mr. Cardell and the BHS Wind Ensemble. Thank you. They went to Philadelphia to participate in the World Strides Heritage Festival, and then they came in first place out of all the other bands that traveled to that, and they won 96.7 out of 100, highest score. And the chorus also went to Rochester, New York to compete in the Eastern Division Conference of the National Association for Music Education. And then, of course, like you said, the musical was amazing. It happened over this past weekend. It was really just a combination of great teaching, acting. It was beautiful. Thousands of people in attendance, which is great to see the community come out to watch these students and everything they worked hard for. And just another great performance from the drama club at Brockton. And then a cool little thing, March Gladness. It was a 3v3 basketball tournament. 2 students and then 1 teacher would be a team. It was just a nice way to incorporate students and teachers and kind of bind the students and teachers together, really build relationships in a competitive and fun way. And then, of course, the junior prom. It was the last one at Lombardo's, unfortunately. It was a great venue, but gotta move on. It was a really great success. A lot of people showed up. Everyone's dancing, enjoying, taking pictures, good food, just having a great time, especially with DJ Mr. Forts over there. And then last but not least, we have the committed seniors that, although I couldn't put all the great commits on here, it's just a few. Aminata to Stanford, Mackenzie Quinn to Stanford, Sophia Bello to Harvard, Jahir Teneo Castillo to Harvard, Martin Kariuki to UPenn, and then Clifford James to USC. Yeah, it's really great to see the success that these students are having. And then that's all. Thank you.
Any questions from the committee at all? Thank you again. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next, we just wanted to go over and remind everybody as we get closer to our graduation dates. So, and again, this is on our website, and we'll make sure that we have it texted out as well when we get closer. So Friday, June 2nd at 5:30 p.m., we'll have the graduation of Champion, Huntington, in the BVLA that night. That will be located in the BHS Auditorium. Again, that's June 2nd, Friday night, 5:30 p.m. And then we have the Brockton High School graduation on June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd at 11 a.m. inside Marciano Stadium. Again, that's Saturday, June 3rd, 11 a.m. in Marciano for Brockton High School. And then during the summer, we'll have the Edison Academy graduation. That will be located in Marciano Stadium. That is July 13th at 5:30 p.m. And that's for the Edison Academy. So those are the upcoming dates for our graduations. And it's always a great time. And again, that will be on our website, and there's information at those schools, how we give out plenty of tickets, but if families need more tickets, they're available to buy. And every school principal or the house dean has all that information, and feel free to parents just to please ask if you need more tickets, and we can accommodate you. So next, we recently, myself, members of the school department, some teachers, our BA president, Kim Gibson, Mr. Rodriguez, Mrs. Ehlers, Mrs. Azak. Oh, you didn't, I'm sorry. So we visited Springfield Central High School. Principal Burns was with us. And we wanted to see, they have a cell phone policy that we wanted to take a look at. And we also, while we were there, we learned about their dress code policy. So it was something that we were interested in pursuing. As a committee, as you know, these are policies that are tied to our handbook and voted on by the school committee. So I've provided you and with the copies of the uniform policy that is for Springfield Central. And then you have information about the current policy about the dress code that's used in most of our schools, but this one is for Brockton High School. So, you know, something that's up for discussion. Springfield has a district-wide policy for uniforms. It's not, right now we are school by school. So you have places like the Gilmore, the Raymond, that have the George, that have uniforms in place. But we do not have a district-wide dress. We do have obviously a policy, but not a system-wide uniform policy. So it's something that is up for discussion, and you know, how we want to discuss that and move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Any questions or comments at this time by the membership? Vice Chair, please.
I just wanted to point out that when we went into this visit, it was with the opportunity to see another district that is very similar to our own, that caters to, the same urban population that we cater to. And we went into it with eyes wide open just to see if this could be a possibility. And after leaving, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but for myself, I was truly impressed at the significance that rolling out a policy like this had on the academic success of the students. And they, I'm going to look to Mr. Rodriguez because he was with me, but it was like 65%. 65% in terms of increased engagement academically by just taking the concept of a cell phone out of a student's hands while they're sitting in a classroom. And one of the things that we've been hearing is that teachers will turn around, they'll start writing, their assignments on the board, and by the time they turn back, the classroom is immersed in their cell phones, immersed in technology, and they are disengaged. And so, when we spoke with the superintendent of the Springfield school system and the principal there, they admitted that they got to the point where they just had to do something because there was such a lack of engagement and progression. And this is what they had decided to do. And from what I could see, it was an extremely successful venture, and they are seeing the proof of it even in the first year. So I know this is a hot topic and it's kind of like hot potato and nobody really wants to talk about it, but at this stage of the game, we need to be thinking about the kids, our children, and what we can accomplish while we have them in our care during a school day, during an academic school day, and try to get them less focused on what's happening outside of the schoolroom and more focused on what's happening academically in the classroom. That's all.
Thank you, Vice Chairman.
And it's something that we saw with the cell phone policy is the social engagement of kids with each other and with staff. I mean, we went into the cafeteria. We were there a while. We saw classrooms. We were in the cafeteria. We went around talking to students and teachers, and it just, the conversation that was going on was amazing for young people to actually have the dialogue with each other about everything else other than being on their phone. So you could just see it and hear it. It was just very interesting. And I know this, we continue to talk about it, and obviously would have parent forums, so we get, input from our parents and feedback like they did in Springfield. But it was a school with about 2,800 students, so it's one of the largest in the state, so we thought it was important to go there. I also want to thank Dee Smith from Brockton High School, her and other teachers who contacted me and said, can we do something? Because we're really seeing a drop in student performance and student engagement due to cell phones and coming out of a pandemic. And I have the same issue with my own kids, fighting about a cell phone to put it away and engage with others. And it's becoming now such a disruption and interruption into how they're engaging in class and paying attention. And, it's time we really start to talk about what we do about it and how we can make sure that our students are actually engaged in class and ready to move on to college, career, whatever they want to do. So it was important to see because it really showed the kids in a whole, just seeing them interact with each other and with their teachers was very impressive.
Any other comments or questions from the committee? Zach?
I believe that one of you brought back a sample of the bags, or
Oh, the Yonder bags?
yeah, if someone had one. Okay.
Yep, so what we'll do is schedule a policy. What we can do is schedule a policy subcommittee meeting within the next 2 weeks to actually talk about both, and then obviously maybe we do a parent forum before the policy sub, and then we do the policy sub, and during that policy subcommittee meeting, I can see if the principal and the superintendent from Springfield can zoom in and actually just talk about what they did and how the process they went through, and explain how the Yonder bags work. It's similar to how they work when you go to a concert, I guess. Now I I don't go to concerts, but I guess you have to put your cell phone in a bag, and so that's what they use there. But I think it would be best for us to soon schedule a parent forum and also invite our educators as well to get their input, and then have during this policy subcommittee immediately following, we can have the principal and the superintendent of Springfield join us via Zoom, so they can talk more about it in detail.
Because the way that I understood it is the teacher would unlock the bags at the time before they are leaving for the afternoon. But what happens if they forget to get their bag unlocked? They're in a rush.
So they have magnets everywhere to unlock the bag.
Okay.
What was interesting is, and they said this, is that they really don't have to check anymore, which is very interesting. So, like the principal said to us, a lot of kids have a fake phone or a dead phone in the bag. He says, but we're not going to go searching whether that's their actual phone or a phone that's 30 years old. Or he said, a lot of them just have it in their backpack. He said, our goal was just, it's away. It's not there, whether it's that phone in the bag or somebody else's phone. And that was irrelevant after they got through the first couple months. It just was the building of the culture of, you're engaged in class and just make sure the phone's away. So they really, at that point, once they built a culture of engagement, it wasn't like a big fight. Okay, open the bag and make sure that's your actual phone and not a phone that's dead and 20 years old or whatever. And it's just basically that we don't see them. So there's no disruption. And so that was interesting. And I'm sure the principal will talk more about that when he joins us.
Yeah, it was, in the very beginning, they were saying that first day of school, be prepared, they're going to be checking all phones. But eventually, all they wanted the students to do was adopt the policy that it was unacceptable for their phones to be on their desk. And what they had found was students had their laptops open, and then they had their phones watching movies in front of the laptops. And so there was literally no accountability. There was nothing that they could do with, and got to the point where they just had to take it away. And so now the students know they can't have it out, or there's an accountability factor, they're going to be sent to the principal's office, or however they put their accountability factors. But basically it was one of those things where now the students know that they can't have it at all. And then the next phase, which they didn't roll out in the beginning, was, because my next question was, who doesn't have a smartphone? Who doesn't have AirPods? And so we addressed that, and they walk the halls, they look, they engage with students. But to Superintendent Thomas's comment earlier, when you were sitting in the cafeteria, and I know Mr. Rodriguez did this as well as I did, we went and interviewed students and just asked them, like, what are your thoughts? And so even the students that were saying it doesn't work, they still weren't bringing they were like, it doesn't work because, I have my real phone and my fake phone's in the bag. But the reality is they didn't have any phone on their desk. And that's the goal, is not to catch them, is just to make sure that they know that it's unacceptable for them to take it out in the middle of an academic lesson. And so it was very telling, and it was interesting. I didn't think it would be that positive. I just didn't. I didn't think. But even talking to the students, to superintendent's comment earlier, like they were sitting in a crowd speaking to each other, and not everybody's heads are down in a phone. They were actually having conversations, which I found super encouraging.
Mr. Rodriguez.
It's amazing just to walk through Central and actually walk into a classroom and not see a student with a phone, just gazing. And, my few visits up here at the high school to, walk in the halls and, you have kids in the hallway with their phones, they're doing the TikToks, they're on social media, they're doing whatever they're doing with their cell phones. But to see the difference of this, here's a school that mimics Brockton High, with the population, the demographics, to walk into a classroom to actually seeing these students focused on the teacher and getting the proper education and not being distracted by a cell phone. So I strongly support this. I know we'll have the presentation so the other members can see how this this process works, and we have to do everything in our power to make sure that we put every process in the place to make sure that our students are actually engaging. In 65%, even at 10%, that's a huge number. To see the school, from the uniforms, from the khaki pants, like everybody was in sync. Going into the cafeteria, it was, they're talking to each other, they're engaging and not seeing a phone. I mean, there was a few, you're gonna have a few, you're gonna have some hiccups, but just to see 65%, that's huge. And I think, bringing this to this district is gonna help a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So on to the FY21 budget update. As you know, as Kim Gibson said earlier, yesterday was a dark day for the Brockton Public Schools. And, we had to give out 172 RIF letters. Even though there's actually 130 cuts, you always have to, because of people coming back from leaves and people bumping to other positions. So the actual number of RIFs is 130, but 172 had to be given out. I know that last week the school committee approved up to 200. I want to thank Human Resources working very hard over several days to get that number down to 172, and they worked with ours. So Dr. Moran and her team were able to it's a lot of work going through the lists, and there's different licenses and bumping rights and by seniority. So I'm not proud of the number that, obviously, but it wasn't 200 that they had to give out. And again, I want to, again, apologize to those people that had to give, that got RIF notices, because I was the proud superintendent to hire them all over the last 4 years, and the last thing, we want to do is lay them off, especially when over the last 4 years we have seen the highest amount of teachers of color hired, which has been a huge goal of the district and our strategic plan, and also the goal of the school committee and the mayor. So to have to lay people off is unfortunate. I know our enrollment has dropped, but it's important to note that, even though, our enrollment has dropped, and that causes the loss, 1,323 students over 4 years. And last year, we were third only to Boston in Springfield. Actually, we were second. Boston lost 601 students last year. We were second at 356, and then Springfield was third at 287. And that's a lot of money in Chapter 70. And and I know we continue to say we're overstaffed for the amount of enrollment, and that's the case when it comes to dollars and cents. But when it comes to the needs of students, these people are extremely important, and to help our students recover from what they came out of from COVID. And I know we have some small class sizes, and we'd love to be able to keep that going, but reality is enrollment's down, and it's terrible to have to again RIF people, and it's the last thing we want to do, because again, these are always just good people that love teaching, love our kids, and they do everything they can every day to make the lives better of students. And yesterday was a very difficult day for everyone, because principals, myself, others have to give out these RIF notices, and you give them out one at a time so you can sit and talk with each person and explain, and it's just a very tough day, and it gets no better today. It's just a tough day for the Brockton Public Schools, and hopefully as we move forward, and I know that the SOA has come through, and again, per student we're properly funded, but the being short 69 students for to be economically, losing that 6.4 million for, in the area of economically disadvantaged, going from, being short by 69 students from group 11 to group 12, 6.5 million would make a huge difference for us. And that part is disappointing. But, it's our reality, and we have to, pretty much be in line and be budgeted and be, it's difficult because it's really tough to see these people go. It really is. And they've worked so hard, and they care about our kids so much. So all I can say is I'm sorry to them and to everybody, all their colleagues, because, they put so much into it every day. And I was hoping to be the first superintendent in a long time not have to give out RIF notices, and unfortunately that's not the case now.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Any questions of the superintendent or Mr. Petronio, the CFO, is here as well? Any questions relative to the budget matter that's before us? Take a vote on it to send it?
I think we have to take, there is a motion that is ready to go for the net and non-net school spending budget to be voted on, so it could be sent to the city council.
We did it in a finance subcommittee earlier.
Yeah, we have to do it in the full.
It's not on the agenda for this meeting, so I don't know if we can do it right now.
Well, it's still lifted under FY '24 budget, so.
Yeah, it's on the FY24 budget.
You can approve the budget
Yeah, we can
numbers
take a
under
vote
that.
tonight. It's on the agenda.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve the budget as submitted, and it would be sent back as submitted to the city council? Hearings are going to be June 12, 13, 14, with a caveat for the 15th, according to Council President DeCastro. Is there a motion on the floor?
So Aldo, we have to do each one separately, right? Read the, huh? Okay, but we have to read each number, the net and the non-net. Okay.
I have that.
Vice Chair, do you have the number?
Yeah, she has it.
Oh, all right.
I do, I have that.
All right.
Hold, please. Oh. This one here, that's what I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year '24 net school spending budget request of $219,868,010 as proposed by the Finance Committee of the School Committee, and recommend that the mayor consider this funding request in his preparation of the City of Brockton fiscal year '24 mayor's recommended city budget. Further, I would also like to entertain a motion to approve this year's fiscal year '24 non-net school spending budget request of $14,778,712 as proposed by the Finance Committee of the School Committee, and recommend that the mayor consider this funding request in his preparation of the City of Brockton's fiscal year '24 mayor's recommended city budget.
Form of a motion. Is there a second on that motion, please?
Second.
Motion was made by Vice Chair Ayers, properly seconded by Mr. Sullivan. Kindly raise your hand if you approve that motion. Kindly raise your hand if you oppose that motion. It does pass back favorable, and that will be the budget presented to the City Council for the hearing in June.
Okay.
Thank you. We now have any
Yep.
items to refer to subcommittee at this time.
So I would say we refer the dress code policy, district-wide dress code policy, and the cell phone policy to the policy subcommittee meeting, to a policy subcommittee meeting to be held sometime within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'd also like to ask that we schedule a policy manual subcommittee meeting, because we need to finalize some of the policies that were changed last June. We need to finalize those and then approve them. So probably we can get that first week
Yeah,
in
we can
June,
kind
if
of do it on
possible.
the same night. Yep,
We just need some time to,
right.
just go through with
Yep.
them? Okay.
Actually, we can do that separately. We'll do the, Paul, you're right, that will need more time, the manual.
Because one of them actually affects under unfinished business. We're questioning it. So we hadn't voted on it, that specific policy, but,
Right.
Okay.
That's going to require ratification when we get to it.
okay.
Any other members want to talk about any items to refer to subcommittee at this time? Seeing none, that concludes the report of the superintendent of schools. Mike Thomas, thank you, superintendent.
Thank you, Mayor.
Agenda 5 is unfinished business. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So at the last policy subcommittee meeting, there was two topics that we discussed. One was the bid review that is going to be sent back to policy committee, but the other was making sure that we were able to move Mr. Homer as the chair of the facilities usage and planning committee and move myself to be a member. And that was unanimously voted on. So I believe this just needs a ratification. Does that sound right? For us to vote on Mr. Homer, but move the other item back to policy.
Is it the form of a motion?
Yes, yes, that's in the form of
Just to
motion.
clarify again, Jared would become the chair,
Correct,
and you would relinquish that and just become a member?
correct.
Okay. Form of a motion?
Yes.
Any second on that motion, please?
Second.
Second was made by Ms. Azak. Any questions or comments on that? All in favor of the motion, kindly raise your hands. Opposed? Raise your hands. It passes. Again, just for the record, it was made by the vice chair. It's probably seconded by Ms. Azak, and it was unanimous. Anything else, Vice Chair, on that matter?
No, the other items will be moved back to policy, and then we'll bring them to this forum again once we've figured that out.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
We will now go on to agenda item 6, which is new business. Is there any new business before this committee this evening?
We have a second unfinished business that we have to discuss.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yes,
For the
we
school
do.
choice.
Yes, we do. Oh, sorry. Discussion and potential vote public hearing, FY 2024 school choice meeting dated May 16, 2023.
Yes, I will make a motion that last year the school committee voted to continue the following program. Up to 50 seats will be available for the inter-district students at Brockton High School, up to 10 students in the Edison Academy, and up to 6 eighth grade students. So we need to vote on that. I'm making a motion to vote on that.
Form of a motion. Is there a second on that motion, please?
Second.
Second by was made by, first was by Kathy Ayers, Vice Chair, properly second by Judy Sullivan. All in favor of that, kindly raise your hand. All opposed, raise your hand. It passes unanimous. We'll now go on to number 6, which is new business. Is there any new business before the committee at this time?
Not really new business, but we just want to congratulate the cast, everyone that was involved in the Mamma Mia production. I mean, all I can say, phenomenal. We left there. I was singing the whole entire night. It was a tough day, given, there was an incident at the school.
So you went Friday night's performance?
Friday night was amazing.
Yeah, I went
and-
Sunday, yeah.
And it just, all over social media, no matter where we go, everyone always praises BHS, whether it's our band, whether it's our concert choir, whether it's our arts, our athletes, but this was just amazing. And they've always been amazing over the years. I just don't know, maybe because I knew all the songs. I was just enjoying the whole night. And it was a wonderful night to be able to get out and share a little bit of, Mamma Mia with the rest of Brockton. And but I just want to say they did an amazing job. Absolutely amazing. We're so proud of them. And people asked if it was recorded. People wanted to watch it afterwards. I don't know if they could record it, but people were asking if we had recorded that, just for those that weren't.
I don't believe that they have the rights to record it.
I know, that's what I wondered. It was just, but the set was amazing. Like the colors and just the set alone. I was there with Mr. Rodriguez and Mrs. Rivas Mendez, and I was just in awe. So we have some very talented students, no matter what they're doing. When it came to the actual Mamma Mia, whether there was set design, costumes, singing,
Makeup,
acting,
yeah, all that,
makeup,
yeah.
it was a team effort, and I just want to congratulate them. We're also proud of them, and an amazing job. Again, phenomenal. That's the only way you can explain what a wonderful night. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Best $12 you could ever spend, right? You don't have to go to Manhattan or Broadway for that. I also have to give a shout out again to all the boys and girls that participated, all the singers and dancers, and also we had a special actor, Vinnie Macrina, who served as the clergy, priest, pastor. Mr. Macrina. But again, that's the Brockton we all love and we all know. So I want to thank everybody that participated, and it was awesome, awesome. Any other thoughts or comments at this time? Mr. Rodriguez, please.
I think we have to implement the cell phone policy with the show, so when they come in and watch Mamma Mia, so get the Yonder's bag so nobody can spoil the moment. But I just want to mention that this Saturday with an Empower program yourself, we will have NASA here at Brockton High. That they will be going to be hosting NASA, and we will have astronauts here at the high school. So these are one of the the positive things that are happening every day here at the high school. So we have to showcase all the positive. I mean, the negative is very small. So let's just, focus on all the positive things and showcase where our students are heading. So just this Saturday from 10 to 3 in the Azure. So just wanted to echo that.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Maybe I'll become an astronaut.
You never know. Could be a new career choice. Any, Ms. Azak.
I apologize. One last thing. So we want to wish our seniors have an amazing, I believe the prom is next Thursday? Next Thursday.
Thursday's their last
So
day.
have an amazing prom. Stay safe and enjoy being a senior for the next couple of weeks. There's got a lot going on for them. So, and we're so proud of everybody. So we wish them luck. And I'm sure they'll be flooding social media with all the prom photos. We saw the juniors. So again, congratulations and stay safe next week.
Thank you, Ms. Azak. Mr. Homer, please.
Just to piggyback on the success of Mamma Mia and the spring musical, the spring Pops concert coming up too. If you missed out on seeing the musical, you're going to see a lot of talented students that are part of that organization on stage again, and that's a great opportunity to get out and see what the students can accomplish. But again, just recognizing that they don't do that by themselves. I mean, there's a lot of support from teachers that spend their time in the afternoons working on helping them to develop things in the set, the choreography, the lights, the music, the ensemble. That's countless hours spent putting a show like that together. So can't do it without the teachers too.
Ms. Ehlers, please.
I just want to follow up on what Mr. Homer said so that I could just say that it's Wednesday night, May 24th.
I just want to thank the president of the BEA, Kim Gibson, for what she articulated tonight. Myself and Superintendent have spoken to the 3 state reps and the state senator, Senator Brady and Rep Mendez and Cassidy and Dubois. And we will be having another meeting. We will invite Kim to be there as well to see if they can establish that fund in Beacon Hill that's going to help Brockton kids and teachers. So thank you, Kim, for what you do. Thank you. At this time, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Ms. Sullivan. Second? Second by Mr. Homer. That was quick. All in favor, kindly raise your hand. All opposed? Have a good night. Drive careful.